I know that I said that we do this weekly, maybe even bi-weekly. Sometimes things happen, so let me just pull this old book here off the shelf and get a little of the... get some of that dust off there so we can get back to another Logan scriptures. Where were we? Let's see, we did the territories. Part 2. Kenny Omega versus Adam Cole. Story that goes years before now, and I'm sure will continue as the wrestling world continues to grow. As you all know, Kenny Omega and Adam Cole, it was kind of teased before Omega took some much needed time off. The question was, who was going to lead the elite, the super elite? Was Kenny Omega going to be the good guy? Was he going to be the bad guy? Who was going to turn on who? We're all anticipating it. Before we get to there, I think we need to take a few steps back. When Young Bucks, Adam Cole, and Kenny Omega were first truly hitting their stride with the Bullet Club. Adam Cole kind of ran Bullet Club here in America. He ran the Young Bucks over in Japan. Omega ran it. Again, Omega had Young Bucks. Adam Cole was a mainstay in Ring of Honor. He was the Ring of Honor World Champion. He actually brought Hangman Adam Page into the Bullet Club. I was there. It was pretty cool. Hangman hung a guy. No one really brings that up now.
Nope.
But, yeah, he hung a guy in Dearborn. Again, it was kind of cool to see. But it was the beginning of Adam Cole's group. What would eventually become known as the Elite. At Adam Cole, the Young Bucks, Omega, Hangman Page, Marty Scurll, and Cody Rhodes. Now, as all of this was transpiring, like I said, you had Bullet Club Japan, Bullet Club America, a couple of the same members, but two separate groups, kind of like NWO Japan and NWO America. Fast forward a little bit to May of 2017, when Adam Cole was violently kicked out of the Bullet Club. Kenny Omega told Adam Cole that his year-long run with the group may have been historic. Like all fairy tales, it needed a hero and a villain. Lights came on, and Scurll was in the ring holding a Bullet Club umbrella, and the Bucks proceeded to super kick Adam and leave him knocked out. Then Scurll hit Cole with the umbrella, held him up so the Bucks could do that famous or infamous, depending on how you feel about it, the kiss on Cole's cheeks. Now this would begin the whole joke on BTE and on their Twitter about Adam Cole being a ghost. That's, Scurll took a spot as a leader here in America. He'd make appearances in Japan before, unfortunately, being Me Too'd in a way. Kenny Omega's still at the forefront. Well, again, jump forward. Kenny Omega has the Young Bucks. And Adam Cole comes out that big night. Bryan Danielson debuts. CM Punk's first match back in so many years with AEW. Adam Cole comes out. We get the kiss. Seems everything is perfect. But as I said earlier, before Omega had to take time off, there seemed to be some seeds being planted. Like I said, will Omega turn? Will Cole turn? Now, if I were to write this as it's written here in a good book, obviously the first step would be having Kenny Omega come back. We've discussed it before. He's deserved this time off. Whether you love him, whether you hate him, whether you think he's, overrated, they think he's the number one guy in the world. Omega deserves some time off with all his injuries. I would have him come back. First thing I'd have him do, you got to get that rematch with Adam Page. And have him lose as he's sitting in the ring trying to find himself, because that's when he left. If you remember, he said he need to find himself, need to recharge. I'd have Adam Cole get in the ring. I'd have the Young Bucks get in the ring with him. And I'd have Adam Cole let Kenny Omega know his years with AEW, his years as the #1 wrestler in the world, they've been historic. But now, and then I'd have him lean in, get right into his face. It's all about the boom. And then I'd have him super kick Omega, leave him in the ring. The fans necessarily wouldn't be shocked because we've seen this coming. But the announcers would play it up. That's the greatness of having Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone. They would make you feel as if this is the ultimate betrayal. Well, you could have the Young Bucks you couldn't really read them. Did they support Cole? Did they support Omega? I'd have Omega come out the next week. The Young Bucks follow him out. He can talk about how even though Adam Cole turned, that didn't mean the Elite were broke up. That just meant the Super Elite was broke up, because the Elite is still the top of the wrestling world, and soon the Young Bucks would win the AEW tag titles, Omega would win the heavyweight title, and everything would be back to normal. But then Adam Cole appear at the top of the ramp, holding a microphone, and just say blatantly, "I don't think you heard me, Kenny. It is all about the boom." Then I'd have Red Dragon come from the crowd, start attacking Kenny Omega. It would make it seem like the Young Bucks would then jump in to save him, but in reality, they would hit the kiss of death and each hit a super kick of their own, dropping their former leader and effectively building a Super Elite with the Red Dragon themselves and Adam Cole. Possibly one of the finest wrestling groups in the world, because they'd also include Britt Baker. I think as time goes on, you have Adam Cole take the heavyweight championship off of Adam Page. You have the Young Bucks take off the AAA tag team titles from FTR. And then you have Red Dragon win the AEW tag titles. So everyone has gold. As Matt Hardy would say, it's an expedition of gold. Kenny Omega come out 2 weeks later after they all have the championships. And he cuts a long promo with Don Callis. Maybe it's time to hang up the boots. I have no friends left in AEW. And that's Allison Anderson come out. The original 3. Still, it was too much. The Young Bucks, Red Dragon, Cole, and even Britt Baker getting a couple shots in. They keep taking these guys down. This is when Hangman gets reintroduced into the fold. Now, I don't know if you remember. I know you just started watching AEW, a few months ago. Hangman and Kenny Omega were the first AEW tag team champions.
I knew that.
Well, in this, you figure they've got that connection. If Adam Cole took the title off Hangman Page, then he's got some retribution. If Hangman joined him as the 4th, these 4 keep fighting with the Super Elite, Super Clique, if you will. Still, 4-on-5's too much. Maybe they get a member of the Dark Order to join them, but the Dark Order, it's just not strong enough. That's Kenny Omega tells 1 week, "I want to challenge you guys to a blood and guts match. A War Games match. 5-on-5. Who's the 5th member going to be? Going to be John Silver? Is it going to be Don Callis? Is it going to be one of the Bullet Club members from Japan? I don't think it'll be that. Because at this time, Impact has already ran a feud between Gallus and Anderson and the True Bullet Club. So who exactly is going to be the fifth man in this Omega Cole feud? Then you can have all four of the guys standing in the ring. Kenny Omega looks at Adam Page, says, "Do you remember when you first started teaming with me?" And then Adam Page says, yeah, when AEW started. And Omega goes, no. Before then, when you first became the Hangman. Do you remember when you first started teaming with me? Our group, the True Elite, the men who started AEW and Hangman. Yeah, I remember. That's Kenny would take the mic and he would talk about how he understands that the men they're up against are the Super Elite. They have championships from around the world. But the only thing that can cancel something out is a like part. The only thing that can take out the elite is the elite. As he says that, the Super Elite come on the stage, and Adam Cole grabs the mic, tells Kenny Omega how he's crazy. Everything he says is crazy. No one cares about him anymore. He's not the top wrestler in the world. The top wrestler is Adam Cole. The top women's wrestler is Britt Baker. They have the top 2 tag teams in the world. Kenny just needs to feel the boom and get on with it. And then Kenny again leans on the rope and says, "You didn't hear me. To take out the elite, you need the elite." And that's the lights will go out. And then they come back on in that AEW fashion to see someone standing in the ring, looking down, hood over their face. And then Kenny pulls the hood back, and it's Cody Rhodes. Now again, I mentioned earlier, Cody is one of the members of the Elite. And I think this would be the perfect segue into truly having all the combustible elements. You've got the Young Bucks on one side, you've had Hangman, Cody, and Kenny on the other. You have a blood and guts match. Would I include Marty Scurll? He hasn't been seen in the wrestling world in a while. I don't really think people necessarily remember him. Plus, he doesn't fit into the narrative of the AEW co-founders. But I think having Cody there just creates so much more melodrama. Plus, another thing others won't remember is Cody also led the Bullet Club at one point, so he's got the connections with all these moving parts. He was in Ring of Honor at the time that Kyle O'Reilly was a heavyweight champion, so again, everything connects into a blood and guts or a War Games match. It is then in this match that you finally have the blow-off. You have Kenny and Cole. You have the old Bullet Club versus the new Bullet Club. You can have Cody hit the spot where he jumps from high up on the cage and does his moonsault. Everything is there for a Kenny Omega win. Getting the pinfall. Everyone's bloodied. Everyone's bruised. But Kenny Omega again asserts himself at the top of the pyramid. Does this necessarily end an Adam Cole Kenny Omega feud? No, it just adds a new layer to it. It adds Cody and Hangman as a Cowboy Shiznit team teaming up, face off against the AEW Tag Team Champions. It has Gallows and Anderson fighting the Young Bucks in kind of a lackeys fight, because Gallows and Anderson were the Young Bucks before was the Young Bucks. And you have Kenny and Cole, so you have 3 main events right there following AEW pay-per-view. This feud could be booked 6-7 months. And I know what you're saying, that's a long time for a long-term story feud. Not in AEW. Think that this Omega Cole feud will end up this way? Yes. Do I think that it needs to end in blood and guts? Yes. After 7 to 8 years of history, 7 to 8 years of who is the true leader, there needs to be that final stamp of approval on it. And as far as I can tell, in chapter 2 here of the scriptures, there's a big stamp right on top of this Kenny Omega, Adam Cole, All Elite Wrestling. Emphasis on elite feud. You think as a relatively new noob AEW fan, would that keep you interested? Would that keep you enticed in the brand?
Oh yeah, it definitely keep me intrigued, and it's definitely something that I feel it feels natural for Kenny Omega to do when he comes back. I don't feel like we should be rushing Kenny Omega back to wrestle on Dynamite against whoever, Sammy Guevara or somebody. No offense to Sammy, but again, I feel like we're kind of already laying the groundwork for this to happen. Almost every week, Red Dragon and the Young Bucks are getting along. Adam Cole's walking a fine line between them, keeping them together. I feel like we might get a little taste of it sooner than later between those two, trying to get the AEW World Tag Team Championships back. But yeah, I think it's just a matter of time, and if they do it the way you laid it out, I'll be really happy with it. I'm not just saying that because you're my co-host and friend here, but
I'd love to hear a battle of the words between Britt Baker and Don Callis myself.
Yeah.
It would almost be like late 80s, early 90s WCW, Paul Heyman and Medusa had a good battle of words, and it's almost at that level. I think all the parts are there. The only true hurdles is Gallows and Anderson getting from Impact to AEW. And then if they want to reference Cody being a member of the Elite, they've kind of brushed over that in recent years. And then, like I mentioned, it would be cool for Marty Scurll to be involved, but after the whole Me Tooing, I don't think he's really done anything wrestling related at least a year. So I don't know if just introducing him back is really the route to go. Like I said, this could be a good 6 to 9 month feud.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's all the top guys too. Plus, with how AEW's roster is laid out, you still have Danielson, Punk, Jericho, as well as many others that could handle other matches while this is the main fixture. This would be your NWO versus Horsemen or your DX versus Nation, while everyone else kind of picks up the slack in the mid card and the lower main event.
Let's just get you hired. Let's get you down to Jacksonville.
Hey, Jacksonville, Connecticut, wherever Ring of Honor's based out of. I won't do GCW.
A little too hardcore for you.
Little too. But I'm gonna put this. So let me just get a little bit more of the dust off that. Hopefully, this book doesn't sit on the shelf for a couple months.
Maybe next time you'll get a bit of dust off of it then.
That'd be nice. I mean, if you are just listening out there, out in podcast land, if you want to hear more of the scriptures here, or if there's something that you're curious about how it would be booked, or you think I would like it booked, I mean, the more that I open these pages, the more writing appears. Let us know on our Twitter. I mean, just reach out to us. Is there any other place that they could let us know? Do we still have an email set up?
We do. We still have an email. I check about once a week. It's usually just
wrestlingproverbs@gmail.com.
Yep.
And just like I said, hopefully this isn't a once a 2 month thing. Like to keep this going. It's fun to kind of spitball. It's based off of an older YouTube channel's ideas. But that guy was more of a smart ass. Then if you're curious into this kind of thing, Eventually, I'd like to get on our YouTube channel. I did a couple of these videos way back when. Not as much on how things should be done, but how they should have been done. Legion of Doom's return to the WWE, things of that nature. Undertaker's WrestleMania matches. Like I said, these scriptures have a lot in them. It'll just be interesting to see what comes next in chapters 3, 4, 5, and etc.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. The last one we did pretty good. We had a lot of good feedback from it, so I'm expecting this one to get the same. And then after the future ones, once more scriptures are needed to be reading.
Yeah, this one didn't have as much history on it as the Territories one, but still a little bit there. Still a little bit of history for people to nibble on.
Absolutely.
But until next time, as always, follow us wherever your podcasts are, on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Send us an email. The only thing we don't have is AOL Instant Messenger.
You can send us snail mail too. Just send a letter to my house.
Yeah, there we go. We're not going to release addresses, but I'm sure you'll find us.
Yeah, not hard to find.